The night was supposed to be simple, a charity event, a few drinks, some small talk, and maybe a quiet drive home afterward. Nothing dramatic. Nothing memorable. That's what I expected. But the moment we walked into that crowded, glittering hall, I noticed something shift in my wife, Emily. Her posture straightened. Her eyes scanned the room with a spark I hadn't seen directed at me in months. I tried brushing it off as excitement for the event, but deep down, I knew that kind of glow didn't come from charity dinners. It came from attention. And a few minutes later, when I caught her smiling softly at a man across the room, everything inside me cracked. It wasn't just any smile. It was the kind of smile a woman gives when a memory hits her unexpectedly, or when she sees someone who once mattered. Her lips parted slightly, her eyes softened, her cheeks flushed in a way I hadn't witnessed since our early dating days. She didn't even notice me watching. To her, in that fleeting moment, I didn't exist at all. And that realization hit my chest so hard it actually hurt to breathe. The man she smiled at, tall, confident, undeniably aware of her gaze, lifted his glass in a subtle acknowledgement. And she looked away quickly, pretending she hadn't done it. A cold heaviness settled around me. I wasn't stupid. Marriages don't explode without warning. They erode silently, piece by piece, until one day a single look is enough to expose the cracks. I'd ignored the distance between us, the quiet dinners, the nights she turned away from me, the way she guarded her phone lately. But that smile, that was the final drop of cold water. My heartbeat slowed as clarity hit me like a wave. I had seen enough. Whatever was left between us was already dying, and I wasn't going to stay where I wasn't wanted. So I turned. No scene, no yelling, no dramatic announcement. Just quiet, cold acceptance. I took one step away from her, then another. The music faded behind me. My vision tunneled. I felt strangely calm, almost numb, as if walking away from her was the most natural thing in the world. Leaving my marriage. Leaving the memories. Leaving the version of her I thought I knew. I barely made it to the hallway before the weight of the moment slammed into me. I pressed my hand against the wall to steady myself, my breath shaky. Then I heard it, her voice slicing through the hum of the crowd like a blade. James. It wasn't casual. It wasn't soft. It wasn't the tone of a woman calling her husband to bring her purse or wait for a selfie. It was sharp, panicked, trembling. A tone that screamed one thing. Fear. Real fear. I froze mid-step, my fingers curling into a fist. The hall behind me went quiet for a second as people turned to see what froze her blood. I didn't turn around immediately. I wanted to. I didn't want to. My heart fought itself. But something in her voice, desperation, urgency, almost pleading, forced me to turn. And what I saw wasn't the confident, polished woman I married. Emily stood in the middle of the doorway, her face white as paper, her hands shaking violently at her sides. Her eyes weren't angry or guilty, they were terrified, like I had discovered something she'd been hiding for far too long. The man she'd smiled at earlier had gone still too, watching her with a tense, unreadable expression. The entire ballroom seemed to pause. Emily stepped toward me, her breath uneven. "Please, don't walk away," she whispered, her voice cracking mid-sentence. The vulnerability hit me like a slap. I expected excuses, maybe denial, but not this. She looked genuinely afraid that I would leave. "There's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you months ago." She swallowed hard, and I saw tears forming, clinging desperately to her lashes. "If you walk out now, you'll hear it from someone else. And that will destroy us." My pulse quickened. The man she had smiled at earlier lowered his eyes as if he already knew what was coming. A few people pretended to keep mingling but didn't move far, sensing drama unfolding. I crossed my arms, my jaw tight. "Then talk," I said coldly. Her whole body flinched at my tone, but she nodded, gathering what little strength she still had. "The man you saw," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "He's not just someone I know." I felt my stomach twist. She continued, trembling harder. "He's the reason I've been distant. But not the way you think." My chest constricted painfully, but I didn't interrupt. She wiped her tears, then said the sentence that made the entire room fall into complete silence. "He's my son's biological father." The world tilted. My ears rang. I felt the ground shift beneath me. Emily covered her mouth, choking on a sob. Before you and I met, before I even knew you existed, I had a child, she said. A baby boy. I gave him up because I had no support, no stability, nothing to offer him. I never told you because I thought that part of my life was buried forever. The man across the room looked down with a mix of guilt and conflict, confirming her words without speaking. Emily's voice shook violently as she continued. He found me 6 months ago. He told me our son, the boy I gave up, is 16 now. And he wants to meet me. My throat tightened. 16 years. A child she had hidden. A past she had buried so deep she pretended it didn't exist. I've been distant because I didn't know how to tell you, she cried. I was terrified you'd see me differently. That you'd think less of me. That you'd walk away. I felt dizzy, angry, shocked, betrayed, but above all, overwhelmed by the gravity of what she'd been carrying alone. The pieces clicked, the late-night crying I overheard, the sudden therapy sessions, the way she'd cling to her phone after long calls, the hollow smiles. It wasn't infidelity. It wasn't another man stealing her attention romantically. It was a ghost from her past resurfacing so suddenly and violently that she didn't know how to hold herself together. The smile she'd given him, it wasn't attraction. It was grief mixed with hope, fear mixed with longing. Slowly, I stepped closer to her. The room watched, breath held. She looked at me like she was bracing for impact. Instead, I spoke softly, voice shaking. You should have trusted me. Her tears flowed harder. I know, she whispered, but I'm begging you now. Don't walk away. Not when everything is about to change. I exhaled, the weight of her secret settling into me like a storm I didn't know we'd survive. Our marriage wasn't breaking because she smiled at another man. No. It was about to flip upside down because somewhere out there was a boy, her boy, about to step into our lives and change everything forever.